Welcome to Digimon.
Hello and welcome to Digimon and welcome to another deck profile on the channel. If you're liking this sort of content, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel and ding that notification bell so you're not missing out on any of the latest content. After doing some of the deck profiles last week, which were the Black Monochromon X and the Tentomon profiles, make sure to go and check those out if you haven't, would really appreciate it. We had a couple of comments from people asking for Nature Spirits. Now, Nature Spirits is one of my favourite decks currently. It's so fun. I've loved it ever since it came out in EX07. It was an absolute hot mess when it came out. If I just quickly pop up on screen, a lot more colours in the deck previously. We had, green, blue, black, yellow, all of those. I was playing Chimeramon in it at one point as well as a tech card to kind of go off of all those colours. But now in EX08, we can actually fine-tune it to go a little bit more consistently, a little bit more kind of efficiently, and we can actually use up some of the new stuff from LM02 to also help us with that consistency. So as you can see, I've gone for a fully blue and green version of Nature Spirits. So I've completely taken out all of the defensive options from your Gotsumons, your Jagamons, so all of that is gone, and we have gone in favour of pure aggression, and actually it works really well from what I've been doing with my testing. Starting with the eggs, I've forgotten to put the eggs in. BRB. Eggs are in now. Also, I realised I just said BRB in a non-ironic, non-abbreviated way, and I don't know if I'm proud of that. Be right back is what I meant, in case you didn't know, in 2025, which I doubt. Anyways, deck, eggs, Motimon is our egg. So we've got 4 of this guy. I've taken out Wanyamon completely, despite the fact it's a blue egg, because this deck now needs the consistency with the strategy. And what Motimon allows you to do is when any of your NSP trait Digimon are played, if this Digimon has the NSP trait, this Digimon may attack. So it helps you kind of do like a pseudo blitz if you manage to play stuff. So with your Eldoradimon, you could do that after turn. With your Tlalocmon as well, especially the number one thing to do would essentially be Eldoradi, play something out, swing in, DNA at end of turn into Tlaloc, play something out, swing again, because it's still your turn and you can do that. So it's just a really good egg. The Wanyamon is good for the draw and the consistency, but we actually have quite a few searching tools now available because we fine-tuned the colours, so it's not as necessary as it was before. But if you did want a 5th egg, go for the Wanyamon, or indeed if you wanted to kind of do a slightly different build, then you could prioritise your Wanyamons over your Motimons. Next is the rookies. Now you'll notice I've really cut down on the rookies. We're only running 8, which is kind of dangerous, but actually in terms, because of the amount of consistency tools we've got, I found it doesn't really matter. First one is Otamamon. So this is a floodgate. Players can't reduce play costs, so that is really good against certain matchups like 7 Demon Lords or say Royal Knights. Not necessarily saying Nature Spirits is going to be competing with Demon Lords, necessarily. What with that being a US Nationals winner as of a week or so ago, but still can really help in certain particular matchups. And then we've got the Tentomon, which is our new card from EX08. 4 copies of this guy. Obviously, both of these guys can evolve on top of the Motimon, no problems. On play with this guy, reveal the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 card with the Insectoid trait and 1 card with the NSP trait among them to the hand, return the rest to the bottom. So the hope is that you can double dip with this and get 2 different cards. So we've maximised as much as possible on our NSP trait Digimon and our Insectoid trait Digimon. So really, really good card here. Also gives a 2000 DP inheritable, which we do technically have access to jamming in this off of one of our cards, but also the amount of DP really helps us beat over Digimon, which actually is one of our main strategies in this. So having more DP is absolutely a plus. Then going into our champions, we've got 4 of the Geckomon. On play when Digivolving, you draw 1. So this guy, because obviously we've got quite a low rookie count, which, speaking of, by the way, if you did want to boost the rookies, you could definitely put in Gotsumon again, and just maybe cut down on maybe some of your level 6s or on some of your options. That's absolutely fine. I've tested with that as well. I just found having colour consistency was better for me, but if you want more rookies, absolutely put those back in. If I do find at some point that I want more rookies, I'll be putting Gotsumon back in for sure. But anyways, back to Geckomon. On play, when Digivolving, draw 1. So if you Digivolve with it, you get 2 draws, which is quite nice. And has the inheritable jamming. So if you haven't managed to get your DP boosts, if you've got the Geckomon in the stack, no problem. Just go for security, do some jamming checks. Really nice. Then we've got 2 copies of the Monochromon. He's extraordinarily cheap to go into, only Digivolves for 1. Has no on plays, which is kind of a shame, but does give piercing as an inheritable, which again is quite good because some of the time we are looking to you know, beat over Digimon, you know, as much as possible. So yeah, the Monochromon does a really good job, and again has that color consistency because he is green. Then we've got 4 copies of the Kabuterimon from EX08. When I originally saw this, I didn't think much of it, because on its own, it's not that impressive. On play, when Digivolving, suspend 1 Digimon. Though, to be fair, suspending just any 1 Digimon is actually pretty good. If you go back earlier in the game, there was a lot of DP restrictions on suspending Digimon. So this guy, even if it's like a 25 billion K Omnimon, you know, I don't know, he could suspend this, and then also gives the 2000 DP. But the other thing with this guy is like I say, not that impressive on his own, but within the overall strategy, really important, because that suspension allows you to just suspend anything and then be able to beat that over with your much stronger Digimon. So actually integral to the strategy, and also has that dual trait of Insectoid and NSP, so you can add him either as an NSP or as an Insectoid off of your Tentomon, so really good. Going into level 5s, we've got 3 copies of the Shogun Geccomon from EX7. Like I said, I've taken Jagamon out for colour consistency, but if you did want that back in, go for it. On play, one of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers can't suspend until the end of the turn, so that does give us a little bit of a defensive option. You do have to be careful with that, though, because obviously that counteracts some of your suspension effects, so do be careful. You probably want to be prioritising Tamers with that effect than Digimon, I would say, because of the fact we're hoping to suspend as much stuff as possible. Of course, if it's already suspended, then no worries. But the main thing with this guy, especially because we're being so aggressive, is your turn, none of your Nature Spirits trait Digimon attack targets can change, so they can't block you. If you've got Shogun Gecko out, they can't block you, they can't redirect you, nothing. They can't do it. So which is really, really cool. You know, so Shogun Geckomon is definitely a great pick. Then we've got the Triceramon, 3 copies of this guy. Again, another suspender, so he suspends one of your opponent's Digimon, and then that Digimon can't unsuspend until the end of the turn, so obviously it's just a complete improvement on the Kabuterimons, which is absolutely fair as a level 5. Then also has an all turns inheritable of when this Digimon deletes your opponent in battle, trash their top security stack. So we've got that inheritable, so if we're beating something over, we can just trash the top and do that pseudo piercing. In fact, it's better than piercing because the check doesn't actually activate, even if it's an option. Then we've also got the Mega Kabuterimon. I've got it 4. Now, originally I thought this guy's not that impressive. I'll put the Triceramon and stuff like that 4. But actually, as a level 5, he can get absolutely massive. He's got Fortitude, so if he's got a stack underneath him and he dies, he can come back, which is really cool. But the all turns effect is while this Digimon is suspended, it gets 3000 DP. And that's such a simple effect, but actually, with the right stuff underneath it, he could get up to about 14k, which is massive on a level 5. You know, it gets up to 10k on his own. If you've got the Tentomon and the Kabuterimon, you're then going up to 14, which is bonkers. You know, with Alliance potentially as well from one of our cards that we'll speak about later, then he can get huge. Which, yeah, a level 5 that can get that big is all okay in my book. That's great. And then he has the same inheritable as the Triceramon of when this Digimon deletes your opponent's Digimon in battle, trash their top security stack. So if you manage to have both the Triceramon and the Mega Kabuterimon under one stack, so with your DNA, that's awesome, because then all of a sudden you've got 2 trashing when you delete something in battle, which is really nice. Then I'm gonna go to Eldradimon first as our first level 6, because he is the most important level 6 in the deck and is the only card in this that is neither blue or green, because you have to play him. It's absolutely a must. You have to play him in this. Essentially what he does, he's got blocker, so he's a defensive option for you, which is nice. On play, when Digivolving, you reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. Then you may play up to 7 play cost total worth of Nature Spirit trait Digimon among them without paying the costs, and return the rest to the bottom of the deck. So because of that wording, 7 play cost total worth, you can play multiple stuff out. So if you got a Tentomon, for example, and one of your champions, then you can play both of them out. If you get one of your level 5s, you're going to need to play one of them. But the main thing with that is you can play out both of your level 6, your other level 6s with that effect. which is really good. And then he's also got an end of turn effect, which is 2 of your Digimon may DNA Digivolve into a Digimon card with the Nature Spirits trait in your hand. So if you've got your Tlalokmon in hand, you can just DNA at the end of turn, which is awesome. It's really, really good effect. You know, and like I say, you play something out with his first effect, you can attack him with the Eldoradimon. If you've got the Alliance, then that's 2 checks. It's absolutely massive. Then end of turn, DNA into Tlalokmon with your other level 6, and just do that again, because you're still, it's in end of turn timing, but it's still your turn, so all of it will still go off. Then going into the other level 6s, I've got 4 copies of Saber Leamon Ace. Originally I tested with less copies of this, but then I thought to myself, actually, hang on, we need to we've got another level 6 Nature Spirits Digimon. We need to increase our level 6 account so to make sure that we've got the combo with Eldoradimon live more. So I bumped him up from 2 to 4, which is kind of nuts, but you know, he's really good. And actually, to be fair, with Alliance in this deck now, through one of our options, he can almost close the game out on his own. So on play, when Digivolving, 2 of your opponent's suspended Digimon get minus 8k until the end of the turn, so you can potentially clear 2 bodies with that effect. And when Digivolving, when attacking, suspend one of your opponent's Digimon. Then if they have no unsuspended Digimon, this Digimon unsuspends. So if you're going Alliance, you suspend all their stuff, they've got nothing unsuspended, he unsuspends again, 2 checks. If you've got another thing to trigger with the Alliance, do it again, another 2 checks. So he can do 4 checks on his own, potentially, in like the ideal scenario. So really good card, and definitely my favourite of the 2 level 6 aces, hence why I've gone for 4 copies of Saber Leamon, as opposed to 4 copies of our other level 6 ace, which is Hercules Kabuto Ace from EX08. Now he is really good as well, but he's a bit more situational than the Saber Leamon Ace. He needs a bit more to really get value out of him. You may suspend up to 3 Digimon for each of your opponent's Digimon. This effect suspends, gain 1 memory, so on play when Digivolving that one. So you can suspend anything on board, but you'll only gain the memory if you're suspending your opponent's Digimon. And specifically, it has to be suspended Digimon by that effect. If they've already got suspended Digimon, you do not gain the memory. So, you know, to get the full effect of that, they would have to go super wide, which isn't always going to happen. The alternate effect, though, is a little bit more important. So when this Digimon suspends, until the end of your opponent's turn, 1 of your Digimon gains piercing and 3000 DP. So you can give that to any of your Digimon on the board. Doesn't have to be himself. Give them a boost, give them piercing. If you're slamming into them, then you get a piercing check, potentially a trashing effect as well, and you're massive, so you should be safe. Obviously, we've got no option kind of protection in this deck, but that's what that is, whatever it is, But Hercules Kabuto Ace is really good at 2 copies, because like I say, I don't think he's as important as the Saber Leamon, and ultimately within the strategy not as like good, but he's a good support card. I've been playing a bit of Marvel Rivals recently with Sam and Charles. He's more of our strategist build, and Saber Leamon's our duelist, I guess. Got to get those clicks. If you mention Marvel Rivals at least once in a video, you'll get probably 1 billion more views, I guess, maybe. I cannot confirm or deny if that's true. Anyways, on 1 level 7, we've got 3 copies of Tlalokmon. Now he is still objectively worse than both Bolt Baltamon from Nightmare Soldiers and Aegistramon from Deep Savers, but with the added aggression we've now got in this deck because of the Motimon, because of the Alliance, all that sort of stuff, he is really good. So you may play 1 play cost 7 or lower Digimon card with the NSP trait from your hand without paying the cost as your when Digivolving, and if you're DNA Digivolving, you may instead play up to 2 such Digimon cards with different colours from your hand without paying the cost. And obviously you can facilitate the DNA with the Eldoradimon, so you can get that DNA off quite a lot, but even if you're doing just the when Digivolving, you'll still be able to trigger your Motimon effect. It's just not going to be as many Digimon. But either way, whether it's 1 Digimon or if it's 2 Digimon, you're getting an Alliance target, so really good. And then when Digivolving, when attack, the most overkill effect I've ever read, which is one of your opponent's Digimon gets minus 7,000 DP for the turn for each of your Digimon. And I so wish you could spread that across. You could spread across Baltamon's effect. That just does minus 6,000 DP on the board. I so wish that was more like a Heaven's Judgment effect. Even if it was like less DP each time, that would be good. But because it's only on 1 Digimon, yes, depending on how wide you go, you can do like minus 48k on something. But when in ever is a single Digimon getting to that high of a DP threshold? Never. Literally never. So it's not the most... It's a very flashy when Digivolving, when attacking effect, but it's not the most useful. it's, you know, it's cool, but it's not the most feel. But Talmon does help us with going wide once we've gone into him. We can get into him quite quickly because of the consistency tools we've now got. So definitely still a great card within this strategy. Then our one Tamer is 2 copies of Davis from all the way from BT3. Obviously is our memory setter and has the on-play effect of revealing top 3 cards and add 1 blue and green Digimon card among them to your hand. So not all, that is add 1 of each. And obviously all of our Digimon bar Eldoradimon are blue or green in some sort of way. So we can get a double hit quite commonly with that. Then our newest option, Nature Spirits from EX08. This card is actually awesome. It's technically worse than the Deep Sabers one, which just gives you battle protection across the board, but it's definitely a lot better than the Nightmare Soldiers one of giving Scapegoat. But essentially, if you've got no face-up security cards, you can ignore the colour requirements of it, so you can just go cost 2, you know, and do its thing. And its thing is to add your bottom security card to the hand, then place this card face up as the bottom security card. So you have it face up at the bottom of your security to kind of give it a bit of time in there before your opponent can get rid of it. And what it does, it has its security all turns effect whilst it's face up in there, is all of your Digimon with the NSP trait gain Alliance. So this is where I've been mentioning Alliance throughout it. So if you've got this in your security, every single Digimon on your field, because everything is NSP, gains Alliance, which is so good. Everything just gets a 3 security plus attack plus 1 and a pierce and a you know, extra DP. Obviously you have to suspend your own guys to do that. But it just means you can have a really easy time beating over your opponent's Digimon and checking safely, which is really good. And it has a security effect of its own as well if it's hit in security. Unfortunately, it does not add to your hand like a lot of options do, but I think that would be busted because you could just get into a loop kind of effect with it. But you may play 1 level 5 or lower Digimon card with the NSP trait for your hand without paying the cost. So not that it would happen on your turn, but you know, that does mean you could technically Motimon, but that's never going to happen on your turn, so you know. But really good card, love the artwork on it, and just absolutely fantastic at 3 copies. I'd be really tempted to bump it up to 4, I'll be honest. And to be fair, I might do, because it's such a core part of the strategy. So I may bump this up to 4. Then our last card is Jade Memory Boost. So this is the reason why I've gone fully as blue and green as possible, because this allows you to, you know, along with the Davis, of course, reveals top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 green or blue. So it's technically not as good as the Davis, because it adds a green or blue, not an but it does give you our delay effect as well. So add 1 green or blue Digimon card, return the rest to the bottom, place this in the battle area, and then delay 2, gain 2 memory, as is customary with a lot of memory boosts. So really good, just gives us a memory boosting option. We didn't have that in the previous build because we had to focus on more generic searches like Analog Youth and Ukomon because our colors were so diverse, but now we can streamline it and go fully blue-green. We can play stuff like this, which really helps us both with our consistency, our memory gain, our efficiency. Just really good. So Nature Spirits is way stronger than it was before. I'm so happy with it, and it is so much better. I mean, to be fair, now that we've done the tier list for Jank Tank, this is in Rogue tier, so that'll actually be legal for Jank Tank. I might play this in the next Jank Tank, honestly. It's really fun, really strong, for its tier anyway. And I'm absolutely looking forward to tearing it up with this one. But let me know what you guys think. Are there any things you'd change about this build if you were building it? Are there any things that you would like to see from the channel? So any more deck profiles you can think of? Let me know, and we'll see what we can do. I will be bringing out a Marsmon deck profile, taking a little bit of a deviation from EX8, because we've had a few people requesting that after I mentioned it last week. So that'll be coming out this week, and then I need to figure out what else we're doing. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, ding that notification bell, and we'll see you again. Keep it digital.